Hello everyone, I recently participated in the TFT World Championship this past weekend, and in this video, I wanted to do a broad review of one of the games that I played at the World Championship and give it a little bit of analysis. And in particular, I chose this game because I thought it highlighted three key concepts that I think a lot of low elo players either don't know about or don't apply effectively into their games. Also, before we get into the game, just give a little bit of context. This was the sixth game on the first day of the tournament, and I was pretty close to getting eliminated. This game would really decide a lot, and I kind of needed around a top 3 or a top 4 of this game in order to advance to the next day after competition. And another thing to note is this game was played on patch 14.21b, which is the patch before the current live patch if you're watching this video when it comes out. So in my opinion, on this patch, the two strongest openers were, of course, Ahri Bastions and Seraphine Soraka 1-cost reroll. And so, of course, we want to be holding those units in order to set ourselves up for the strongest early game possible. One other key thing to point out here is that because, these are Worlds players, everybody knows what the best openers are. We definitely want to scout the other players and see what openers they're playing. And that could influence our decision on the augment selection and allow us to choose a line that's potentially less contested or completely uncontested. So this brings us to the first key concept that I want to talk about this game, which is choosing the correct line for your game based on a detailed understanding of augments and data, right? So what I want everyone to do is, I'll go back a little bit to my spot. So I'll show you, these are my items: Rod, Cloak, Sword, and these are the units that I'm playing around. And I want everyone to think about what they would do here. I'm gonna get the obvious stuff out of the way first. Of course, we cannot take escort quest or sugar hack quest from the spot. So let's just quickly roll these. So here I want everyone to pause the video, and I want you to think about which line which augment would you pick from this spot, and what line would you play. And I will give you a hint. There is, in my opinion, only one augment and one line from this spot that gives you a more than probably like 15-20% chance of top 4 in the game. As you can see, our spot is not looking so great. So just pause the video. I'll give you some time. Yeah, go ahead and try to think about what you would take and which line you would play. All right. So I'll just give you the answer. The only in my opinion, the only line that is playable here is Transfiguration into Seraphine Soraka reroll. And if you look at the stats at all, you might be a little bit confused, because if you take a look at the data, you can see from the options, Clouded Mind is a 4.57. This is GM plus, by the way, 4.57, which is not great. It's a little bit below average, but it's maybe acceptable. What's the other one? Spoils of War is also not great. Probably not from the spot though, right? When we have this on opener. And then Transfiguration is actually the worst augment here statistically, just based on the overall stats, right? So you might be a little bit confused about why we're taking Transfiguration here and why it's the only playable line from this spot. But if we take a look at a slightly deeper look into the data, and we take a look at what units are actually being played with Transfiguration on 2-1 here, we can instantly see that Transfiguration, if you are playing the right compositions and the right lines from picking this augment, it goes from one of the worst augments in the game to actually one of the best augments in the game. We can clearly see here that when you are playing 1-cost reroll, so Ziggs Blitzcrank and Soraka Seraphine, Transfiguration on 2-1 has a much better has a very good average placement, and it's actually one of the best augments for this composition. So of course it is the only playable line that we're going to take here, and this is essentially the key takeaway here. Really, is that statistics are only really useful in context, and understanding the context of how understanding the context of the statistics is really important to succeed, right? So and in my opinion, this is one of the easiest ways to improve in TFT, right? Because it is essentially just a pure knowledge check, right? Essentially, there is no like individual player skill in like what I just did, right? The only thing there is the fact that I knew that this was a strong line, right? And so if someone did not know that this was a strong line, transfiguration into Sokka Seraphine, they are essentially just leaving free placements on the table, right? Okay. Anyway, let's get back to the game. The main point there, right, is of course be aware of like why the stats stay what they are, and don't get tricked by just looking at surf stats on a very surface level. So getting back to the game, right? We did end up winning the first round against a what didn't kill you player, but since our board is obviously not particularly good, we don't have a single synergy, and we also don't have a single upgrade. We will not probably be winning any more rounds. Just gonna go ahead and play our strongest board. Obviously, we want to try to make 20 gold here. There's this potential Syndra, Cassio, Swain in the shop, but that's not really going to happen. Once we take this augment, we're pretty much locked into playing one cost mages, right? So we're just going to be making 20 gold here. Trying to, maybe kill one unit, but looking at our board, it's probably not going to happen. And after scouting the whole lobby, it's also probably not, it's again probably not going to happen, right? So we do end up killing 0 units here, but there is in fact actually an argument that killing 0 units here is actually not bad, and it maybe even be preferable, because as you can see, because we killed 0 units and we're down 1 HP of these players, we actually do end up getting the first pick on the carousel, which is actually really valuable, right? Since this mage comp really wants specific items. We really want a lot of VODs and tiers, and not many bow, BF sword, glove, chain, etc. Right? So playing a weaker board here actually might have been a good choice, and definitely a really good result. 88 HP and getting the first pick, 3 cost VOD. I did consider going. I mean, I think I would value tier a bit higher than VOD here in this spot, primarily due to, in my opinion, having a mana item is a bit higher priority than having a VOD for a VOD damage item or a Morello. But given that it's a 3 cost versus a 1 cost, I think the Mordekaiser is with the VOD is the clear pick here. And another reason is because this turn the gold actually does matter, since we may need the extra 2 gold from this Mordekaiser in order to make the 30 econ interval on this turn. So as you can see here, right, we do end up getting a charm that costs 2 gold, and without we of course want to buy the charm because we have transfiguration, right? We would always want to be buying this charm, and you see because we took the Mordekaiser, we are able to make 30 gold here instead of if we had 2 gold less, right? So again, just gonna scout, try to kill unit, make the spark, because it's simply the best item in the comp. And you can see that from playing this Zoe, we do end up actually sniping down one unit here, which does save us 1 HP this fight. Not the most important thing, but in the long run, if you do this every single round, it does add up in the long run, right? And okay, so anyway, right here we're approaching the second main concept from this video, the second high elo concept that I wanted to talk about. And so basically, right here, I'm going to do a full scout. I'm going to do a full scout of the lobby, and this concept is essentially actively scouting, knowing how to actively scout, and knowing how to adapt your game plan to the overall strength of the lobby and the tempo of the lobby. So right here, I'm going to scout, and I want everyone to watch very carefully to the. I want everyone to watch the other players' boards very carefully, and I want you to think, how would you adapt your game plan, and what do we learn about the tempo of the lobby, and how should we adapt our game plan based off this information that we're about to get. I'm gonna slow this down to 1 time speed, and in a second, let's see. I'm gonna do my turn real quick. Just make 40. But yeah, right here. Let's take a look. Okay. Yeah. So that might have gone a bit quick for people who aren't that familiar with the meta or the game. Just to keep in mind. Since I've been playing this patch for a really long time. I played in both regionals and worlds. I probably have around 250 games on this patch. So my understanding is logically probably going to be a bit more high level than the average like understanding that a ranked player could like realistically achieve on a patch. But yeah, just like pointing that out. But basically, what I was thinking in the game after scouting is that the main conclusion that I drew from that scout is that the cap, meaning the end game boards of this lobby, are going to be extremely low strength, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Let me just go back and I'll break it down in more detail. So after scouting the first two people here, Hong and Dish Soap, we can see that this player has an RE2 with a blue up, which means he is guaranteed to be playing RE, right? And Dish Soap has high horsepower, right? So that's already two players contesting the same line. So based on this, we would already expect these two players to have relatively low cap. Again, meaning that their endgame board will not be as strong relatively to the average lobby, right? Because they're going to be contesting their units, each other's units. So normally, for example, in this high horsepower line, right, you would normally want Poppy 3, Zoe 3, and then RE3, right, with your Lillian 3. But in this spot, since he's contested, most likely he's probably not going to be able to go for all of those 3 stars, and he's probably just going to have to take the Lily at 3 from this spot and push levels without going for like RE3 or anything. So his cap is going to be lower, and then the other RE player's cap is going to be lower because this is holding all the Lilias and some REs, some Zoes, some Poppies, right? So they're both going to be low cap. The next player, right? If you take a look at who is the title here, right? You can immediately tell that his cap is also going to be low this game, right? And this comes from really having a deep understanding of the line that he's playing. So Syndra with a hand +1, he's guaranteed to play this. Can't pivot, right? But his line, he essentially needs to a tempo with this line. He needs to be strong on stage 3, in order to find success with this comp, right? This is a tempo comp, and to do that, we can use our knowledge of the comp and the meta to like deduce what his game plan is going to be. We can tell that this guy is going to be rolling very deep on level 6 in order to find some 2-star units. So Syndra 2, maybe some like fallen upgrades, etc. So based on just this scout and knowing that this player is like a competent player, right? We basically know what his game plan is going to be. He's going to roll on 3-2. He's going to roll deep on 3-2 for his upgrades, and then since he does that, we know that his cap late game is going to be much lower. Maybe not much lower, but relatively lower than the average game, right? And then next and then scouting these next two people, we can see that they both have 2 tanky. This guy is pretty much committed to playing Honeymancy to tanky, right? And the other guy is not committed yet, but his board does not look very good, right? So again, we have an instance where we see 2 people contesting each other, right? There are 2 main lines that are viable with two tanky in the current meta, and those are Honeymancy Kog'Maw and Shapeshifter Syndra, right? And so no matter what the other player plays, who's the other player besides this guy who also has 2 tanky, he is going to be contested by either this guy or the Syndra player. So he's forced to essentially take a bad option no matter what. He's forced to either contest a line or he's forced to play a suboptimal line. In the game, he does end up playing multi-striker 2 tanky, which is definitely not a very optimal line, and I think he goes like 6th or 7th or something. But yeah, and then additionally, we can also see that this player has a Honeyman's emblem. So he's guaranteed to be playing around the same units as this player with the two tanky Kagama. And so what we can infer about all of these players' game plans, all three of these players, and actually all four of these players, is that they are going to be rolling extremely deep on level 6 on 3-2 for the units because they want to spike early and because they're contested and they want to get as many units out of the pool as possible before the other players can find those units, right? So what we've essentially learned, just to get the last person, Milk, right? Milk has slammed some not so great items, right? And has also lost his 5 streak with Pet Fighter, and he's also pretty poor, right? So his cap this game is also going to be low. Although his spot still is pretty good, his cap is probably not going to be that high, right? So based on all this information that we just got, how do we adapt our game plan to what we actually learned, right? So what we learned is that this lobby is going to be extremely strong on stage 3, but in the later stages of the game, so stage 4 and stage 5, the boards are not going to be as strong as regular lobby, right? So what we should do this game is, since we are playing an uncontested line from a good spot with a good augment, right? I mean, the spot is not that good, but the augment is pretty good. Since we are playing an uncontested line from a decent spot, we will naturally outscale the players who are playing contested, and they have to roll really deep on 3-2 to spike, right? So what that tells us is that this game we should play relatively aggressive, and we should try to preserve as much HP on stage 3 by rolling deep if we have to, and buying strong charms on stage 3, because we will naturally outscale these players, and so all we need to do is preserve our HP, so we're not losing too much, and then later into the game we can definitely win out or definitely outcap some of these players who are playing very aggressively, right? So that is essentially how you adapt your game plan to what you see in the lobby, right? Another example of doing this is a lot of the times in this comp, one cost Mage Reroll, you also go for our Blitzcrank 3 and play vertical vanguards. But in this game, since we did scout that there's two people with a 2 tanky who are going to, there's a player with 2 tanky in the Honeyman's and there's a player with a Honeyman's emblem, and we can see that those two players are both going to be playing Blitzcrank on their board, right? So because of that and the information that we got from scouting, I opted to not go for the Blitzcrank version of this comp and instead go for the Rumble vertical mage composition. Yeah. So here, as we were saying, we do want to roll maybe not very deep, but relatively deep here, right? Generally, in this meta, especially with the current set mechanic of charms, we don't really want to be rolling this deep on 3-1. We probably want to stay around 40 because a lot of time what happens, right? If you roll to 32 like you would in previous sets, then next turn you would go to 40, but then you have to buy a charm next turn because charms are extremely high value. There's so many high value charms in the game on stage 3, such as Golden Dummy, Assembly, the one that gives you a 1 cost of every champ. There's the reroll your shop with all 1 cost. There's get 1 gold for free, so stuff like that, right? Gain a lesser champion duplicator. So we definitely want to be buying a charm every turn, right? But if we roll deep, what ends up happening? If we roll deep below 40, what ends up happening a lot of the time is that next turn we're barely making 40, and then we have to buy a charm, and then we're down to below 40 again, and then the next turn the same thing. We're again down to below 40, and so on and so on and so on, right? So generally we don't want to be rolling this deep. But this game, since we scouted the lobby and we know that everyone is going to be spiking very early and having some very strong stage 3 boards, we really want to roll deeper than average in order to save the most HP on this stage. So we do end up topping here, and again, just as I was talking about earlier, I sold the blitz and just pivoted to Rumble. And here I just wanted to slam every item possible because again, we are going to naturally outscale the other players just by having more items, and a better comp in a better spot. So if we just save as much HP as possible this stage by spamming whatever items we have and the strongest items that we possibly can, it will allow us to save HP and have a very, very strong stage 4 and 5 relatively to the rest of the lobby. So you can see here, we do end up winning this round, which is really huge, right? Going into the next augment selection, yeah, nothing really too much to say. These are all pretty unpickable. And okay, I want you guys to think about what you would take here, right? And think about why you would choose one option over the other. There's a very clear winner here. It's pretty obvious, but for anyone who doesn't know, clearly it's a replication here, and it's not close whatsoever. For anyone thinking about taking balanced budget here, this is again what we were talking about. Based on us counting up the lobby, we know that we need to spike right now in stage 3, and taking a econ augment that scales doesn't help us right now at all, right? All it does is potentially make us hit our 3 stars a little bit earlier, but with this econ, we are probably hitting on 4-1 regardless of if we get balanced budget or not, right? So it's for a similar reason, not Pandora, because we don't really want to be sitting with 2 components on bench, rolling the items over and over again, right? We want to take replication, just gives us the item right now, make an item this turn, as we do, you'll see, and yeah, it's simply the best option because it fits this is simply the best option because it fits the best with our game plan. So yeah, easy replication. I will point out that even though we do end up kind of high rolling this replication. Sorry, I'll put this back at 1.5 times speed. We do end up getting Rod, which is definitely the best outcome here. There are definitely a lot of outs here. I think Tier is fine. We can make a Shojin and a blue buff, and then Bow is fine. We can make a Giant Slayer and a red buff, and then Belt is also fine. We can make a Bormogs and half of a Morello, right? So there's definitely many hits here. Rod is obviously the best, but not particularly. I mean, it is high roll, but it's definitely not like risky to take replication here, right? And so again, we want to roll really deep. So here I actually opted to roll even to the below 30, to the 20 to 30 range to upgrade this, to find this Galio 2 for my front line. Which is again as we were talking about, right? Want to spike right now. People are going to be rolling even deeper than we are, and we need to have a competitive board that can match their strength and save as much HP as possible. And as you can see in this upcoming fight, what I was just talking about actually directly comes to pass. Right? Again, we just have to make the item, right. It's not optimal, but it's good enough. And as you can see in this fight, exactly what we were talking about just came to pass, right? This guy just leveled to 6, took heroic grab bag, and rolled down to 10 with heroic grab bag, right? So we are fighting someone who's invested. I would probably guess like 30 gold into rolling, if not more. Okay, maybe not 30, maybe like 25 gold into rolling. I don't know, but anyway, they definitely have a strong board. As you can see, they have, I believe it's, I don't think he has 4 shape, but he has a Cinder 2 and an Eco 2 with 3 items, right? But as you can see, because we're able to match because we matched his tempo by similarly rolling and stemming all our items, we are able to actually win this round. I guess the player who rolled down to 10 gold on level 6, and this is an enormous win, right? It's enormously impactful because it just lets us greed one more turn later into the game, right? Because we saved 1 life here. Essentially, you can think about it as by actually rolling, you are not greeding, right? People say the greedy play is to sit at 50, right? But it's actually better just to roll because it allows you to greed HP later into the game by staying above high HP. Because if you're low HP, you obviously have to roll deeper, right? And so again, we can see that rolling deep allows us to save even more HP. This guy is another player who rolled extremely deep to a level 6 20 gold with heroic grab bag, right? So a similar amount of gold investment into this turn, and we're actually able to only take a 2-unit loss here, right? And of course, right, we cannot expect to win against someone with a full 2-star with a full 2-star two tanky board, right? But since we recognized our win condition in this game, and we were able to save to roll for a strong board, we're able to only take a 2-unit loss here and save a huge amount of HP. If you think about it, in the past 2 rounds, winning that last round and taking a good loss here, these two rounds could easily have been a 10 to 15 HP swing, versus a player for a player who was made a more greedy play and opted to stay above 50 HP. 50 gold for the turn, right? Okay. Yeah. So just going into this carousel, obviously there's 2 pans, which is not that great because it gives those guys batches +1. Obviously, I would really like to take a pan here for mage spat, but oh well, nothing you can do about that. So I do end up taking the tier, and I think we're gonna make archangels with our second rod of application. Not the most optimal item maybe, but an item is an item, right? We are just playing with tempo. We just time whatever item we can make. And here we actually got a really good component here, belt, which allows us to just make every item possible. Right? We're gonna make a arc, what's it called, Morella, right? And here we do end up moving the Gunblade onto Soraka, and the Morello onto our Seraphine, right? Okay. Yeah. So at this point, again, just trying to save as much HP as possible. Try to buy a strong charm every turn. And you can see here, right? We're fighting a guy who have to pivot into a very low cap and a relatively weak line, right? He's playing multi-striker with 2 tanky, which is not so optimal. Here we just roll for charm. 6 gold is really nice here. Here I wanted to roll for a stronger unit than this tier I put in, right? Maybe a Soraka 2 would be nice here, but couldn't really justify going below 50, so just ended up playing a second Rumble 2 for our strongest board. And yeah, I mean, you can see that we clearly were able to save a lot of HP on this stage. Like if we didn't roll this deep and make every item, we could easily be like lose, right? And we do end up losing this fight, unfortunately. But I think it is only by it's just a 2-unit loss here. It is a little bit unfortunate though, right? But yeah, I mean, the amount of HP that we saved by playing aggressively this stage, which is informed by the scouting that we did, is really, I think, the biggest thing this game that allowed me to find a lot of success in this game, right? So, and this is bringing me to the third and final major concept that I wanted to talk about this game, which is playing to your win condition and playing to your maximum placement possible. And we'll talk about that in just a bit. Here, I'm going to keep rolling. I find the Vex 2. I opt to move the items off the Rumble to the Vex because I think Vex is simply a stronger unit than Rumble, definitely, right? And we do end up being on the correct side with our Seraphine this round and actually winning this round, I think, which is really huge for our spot. Again, just trying to save as much HP as possible. Did we win this? There was no way we win this. But you can see we do end up saving quite a bit of HP. This fight we could have easily killed only like 1 or maybe two units, right? Just think about the augment, right? Vanguard quest doesn't make sense when we're all playing on Blitzcrank. Ascension doesn't really make that much sense either when we have a lot of backline items. So the clear option here is Lons and Pals, which makes perfect sense in our comp. Again, this is a lot to do with knowing stats and understanding why stats are good, because LDP scales off the items that we have on our units, right? It scales off we are long distance paling 2 units with that are gonna have 3 items each. and there are also units, mages, which do scale with AP. So this is the clear choice here. It's a very strong option, and definitely I was really happy with taking this. But so here I'm about to. So here is where I want to demonstrate the third and final concept that I want to talk about this video, which is playing to your win condition and trying to maximize your placement in the game. So as you can see here, I'm about to scout, and right here I see Dish Soap's spot here. And if you take a look, he has Raid Boss, Blossom Notice with high horsepower literally at 3, and a Bastion Emblem, and a pen on bench for 8 Bastion. So just by looking at this guy's spot, you can already tell that I'm probably not going to be winning the game, right? So, and this informs me that my maximum placement is probably second, and this really influences my gameplay this game, because if I'm playing a second for a second at highest, I should not greed and try to hit my like max cap board. Instead, I should play aggressively, roll down earlier, and try to preserve as much HP as possible. This game, because even if I do hit my max cap board, which would theoretically be roll for Vex 3 into level 8 for 7 mages. Even if we do end up hitting that board, we are still probably not going to outcap 8 Bastion Diana, right? High horsepower raid boss, right? So this leads me to do what I do next turn. Really nice win here, by the way. Soccer definitely getting a bit fortunate with the spell there. But essentially right here and on this turn, I recognize that I'm not playing for first this game. I just need to get just spike right now and get as strong as possible this turn. And you can see that we're actually rolled very deep, almost straight to 0. And here, I actually have the option. So I think this is where I think some players might go wrong. They might think, oh, okay, this is like this dupe is great. I'm gonna buy this, and then I can use this dupe to get my Vex 3 later into the game, right? Instead, what I do here is I just take this dupe and I dupe the Galio for Galio 3 this turn, and I commit to saying that I'm going to be Vex 2 at the end of the game, but that's okay. I'm not playing for first. I'm just playing for second, and I'm just going to try to win every single round on stage 4 and 5, and then, I will probably lose in the end, but I will just try to win every round that I can and save as much HP as possible. And here I actually make a mistake here, a pretty bad mistake, and I do end up getting punished for it. Here I'm falling victim to my own mistake, right? What I just said I shouldn't do, right? I said I'm trying to greed out this 10 gold econ interval, right? Because if I win this round, I can make 10 gold, and then I can level next turn. It's the correct interval, and I save 4 gold there. I make 1 gold this turn, but there's really no need for that, right? 5 mage is a very big spike. I to be honest, I didn't think that this board could lose, but again, I wasn't really locked in knowing that this soap was in my pool this turn, and I do end up getting punished for it as I voted into dish soap with only 4 mage. And yeah, I lose a very close fight, unfortunately. You can see here that this Lilia is basically 1 cast away from dead, and obviously if I had Veigar in here on level 6, this would be a win for me, and I would have kept my streak into this turn. So again, right, this just shows you this really just shows you why it's important to not play greedily, right, and just to play for your strongest board right now, right? Because this is 10 HP. This is 10 HP. I'm never getting back, right? That's a life lost later into the game, and it's true that it doesn't end up mattering this game in particular, but in a more competitive lobby and a more higher cap lobby, these are the other kind of decisions that can swing you 2 to 3 placements easily, right? Okay. So here, just going to go tier for my adaptive, just to get the 3rd mana item down on Soraka. Luckily, we got that. It was not a Camille. I thought that guy was gonna take it, but luckily he didn't, and we just barely got it. So yeah, at this point, just gonna be more of the same. I've accepted that I'm not going to be going for Vex 3 this game, and that I'm just going to be sitting here trying to econ back up a bit. My board is obviously very good. Just trying to econ it back up a bit on these turns, and I will be willing to roll for a charm and buy a charm when it's like reasonable. I think this turn I'm 2 off charm, so I don't roll, and then I plan to just roll on next turn. Obviously, you'd be like, do you want to be rolling for charms for transfiguration? But didn't think it was that necessary this turn, and it does end up not being necessary, right? But yeah, this turn I think I roll here. Yeah, 1 off charm time to roll. Just any charm is a charm, right? It's actually not it's not the best charm, but I mean a charm is a charm, right? Just again playing for the strongest board right now, and not playing for max cap, because based on the situation at the lobby, we are probably and almost definitely never winning the game here. And so yeah, I mean this charm is not even bad against this player, right? It's actually pretty high value, and we do end up basically killing his whole backline almost instantly, and we do end up winning the fight. And if you'll recall, though, this was one of the players that we pointed out as being very low cap this game, and you can see that it's actually true. I mean, he's level 7, 0 gold, with pretty much no option to level up again for the rest of the game. Like maybe he will end the game level 8, but that's like barely level 8 and at most, right? So again, as we determined earlier, this lobby is going to be low cap, and my line is going to outscale these players who rolled on earlier this spike, as you can clearly see is happening in these fights, right? Yeah. So just going to keep on going. I'll put this at 2 times speed. Can I even do that? Yeah, I'll put it at 2 times speed. Okay. For the rest of the game. So yeah, just going to be keeping playing out on this board, trying to buy a charm every single turn. Here. And so here, one other thing I wanted to point out is so here I clearly learned from my mistake earlier, right? And the mistake again was not leveling for bigger one that one turn. So here, and again, like I feel like a lot of players would go wrong here. They would think like, oh, I'm making 40 gold this turn. Maybe I can level next turn instead. This is a perfect interval. I can make 40 gold this turn. I can level next turn, and then I can hold this Vex, and then maybe I can go for Vex 3, and then I can win the game, right? But this is again the value of actively scouting and actively playing for your maximum placement, right? Because the analysis that I did earlier lets me know to not read the econ, not read the maximum interval, just roll, just level for the second level 2, and buy the charm, right? I do end up going ship here, even though I do already have spark, because my Vex is not, since I only have Vex 2, it might die instantly or quickly, as you can see here in this fight, and then the ship will allow us to have shred later into the fight. And you can see here, this is where a fight where I definitely get rewarded for making the non-greedy play and leveling somewhat aggressively for a second level 2. We can clearly see that this fight is 100% of Rumble Diff, right? So not making the same mistake again. Just level, play the strongest board that you can right now, and yeah, just save as much HP as possible since we're not going to win the game. I thought about buying this, but I couldn't really see an angle in the hand that I had to make the items better, so didn't just pass it up. Here, this is one of the mistakes that I made. This game is not scouting enough for our positioning. Here, this could easily have been a side dip for my Seraphine, right? I don't think Milk moved his strings this entire game, honestly. So if I was on the correct side and I just did a quick scout, would have been a lot better. Here we do find the Karma, which is what we were looking for to play 2 Chrono, which is definitely a strong trait to hero our whole board and give our back some more AP. Here I finally scouted alongside of this matchup, but to be honest with you, this guy's board is not particularly strong, and the fight is not really close. So better just to position for the stronger players, right? So yeah, as you can see again, right, the whole lobby is basically sitting 0 gold, as we predicted, and they're all stuck on either level 7 or level 8, just sitting there rolling for charm every turn, playing for placements. And this is again what we predicted at a very early stage of the game. And here we do end up finding the Nora of Carousel, and we do end up getting the catch out, which is actually really nice. So we do pivot over to the Nora, and now that we did get this, we can, if we're on 5 streak and our board is good, right? At this point, we can basically at this point from this lobby, this board and HP, we are pretty much guaranteed second at minimum, right? It's basically impossible to go below second here. So I thought, might as well just sit this turn, go 8 on 6-1, and just play 7 mage and see what happens, right? But yeah, and we do end up counting here, which is good. I think we do end up winning this round, which is very nice, right? Always nice to win a round when you're not even 0 gold, right? And again, this guy is one of the players who we did say was contested this game, right? And thus not be able to get to the maximum cap board. Here we do end up rolling for Infliction, the charm, definitely one of the strongest combo charms in the game. So great pickup there. And unfortunately, we do end up scouting fighting Milk, and we are the wrong side again, which if you look at this fight, it definitely is the fight diff. This fight was very close. Yeah, just you can see we barely lost, right? If we were scouting for positioning more actively, this was definitely in a fight that we could have won, right? But not the end of the world, right? We're still in a great spot to get second, which is all we which is what we definitely needed. So not the end of the world, but definitely one thing that could have been improved on this game. Scouting a bit more actively for not just like game plans, but unit positioning. Because with us Seraphine, right? It obviously does really matter which side you're on. Here I do have to buy this temp emblem charm for Mage +1 to guarantee my 7 mage on this turn, in case I don't hit Nami. Yeah, I do kind of make a mistake here, rolling too deep, right? And then I have to play a random RE1 with mage, but not the end of the world, honestly. It's alright. And yeah, we do end up with a 7 mage this fight, right? And again, this guy's board, one of the guys that we said was gonna fall off, and he does end up falling off. The fight is pretty close, but we do end up winning, which is very, very good. And yeah, just this sub ends up killing off all the other players for us, and we do end up going second this game. Of course, right? It's like it's a tournament. Of course, like I know everyone knows that I'm not gonna be winning this game, but it's a tournament, not like I can FF, right? So might as well just try my best here. Probably not gonna happen, but it is what it is. And honestly, the fight here against this sub is actually pretty close. I'm a little bit surprised it was close. I mean, his board is 8 Bastion, Diana 2, but I guess our items are very good. Our augments are good, and yeah, I mean our board is not bad. I mean, if we had a Vexley, it would obviously be a lot stronger, but kind of hard to hit everything, Here we do actually end up picking up Animate Bench as our charm, which is very powerful, especially against a matchup like this. The charm is really strong against Ari. The soap is not actually playing Ari. He's playing Rise, but it is also very strong against Lilia, because Lilia's cast only hits 1 unit. And so you can see that the extra unit thrown in essentially soaks up the cast from Lilia and makes it waste the cast, right? Here I'm actually just realizing this now. I messed up by not buying more units to throw in. That's a pretty big mistake. Wow, I didn't even realize that during the game. But yeah, we do end up winning this round. But I mean, to be honest, like this host board is pretty capped, right? And he can definitely like save up money for a very strong combat charm, and at that point we are pretty much done for, right? The game's pretty much over. Yeah, we saw the almost fightable for Nami 2 to don't end up hitting it, but ultimately not the biggest difference, right? It's probably it's a second either way, and you know what, right? We said from a very early, we realized from a very early point in the game that we were playing for second at best, and we do end up getting our highest placement this game of second, which is a very, very good outcome, and definitely what I needed to advance to the second day of the competition. Yeah, so just to recap the video, the three main concepts that I covered this game. First of all, knowing how to select the correct line and the most optimal line based on data, and specifically based on deep looks into data, not just a surface level look. Secondly, actively scouting opponents and trying to understand their game plan and adapting your own game plan in your own tempo to the tempo of the lobby and your opponent's game plans. And finally, playing to your maximum placement and trying to in your win condition, and not trying to greed out at first when in spots where it's not possible. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me this game. I had a really great time playing at Worlds. It was probably some of the most fun I've ever had. I really hope to be able to go back next set and play Worlds again. And yeah, I mean this was my first attempt at making any kind of VOD view content. If you want to see more of this or more of my games at Worlds, let me know. And let me know if there's anything else that you'd like to see, or any feedback that you have about this video in the comments. Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks very much for watching. See you guys next time. Hopefully there will be a next time and not for like a year again. Bye bye.